Taiwan and raised in New York with a passion for electrical engineering and 3 degrees from MIT, Sue worked at a couple of big-name chip makers before clinching a big victory, transforming AMD from a failing chip company into a formidable force in gaming, PCs, and the cloud. She's quick to remind us that her secret weapon is an obsession with the tech itself.
Coming to AMD.
Her no-nonsense approach probably helps too.
I've heard you don't take from anyone.
Who's told you that?
Seriously, I've heard you're tough as nails, and I'm sure you have to be.
Well, I like to win, if that's okay. I would tell people I was doing semiconductors, and they would say, what? Like, what's that? Like, you build chips? Like, what does that mean? People didn't even understand, like, where technology really fit in the grand scheme of things. Like, now, everybody knows. Like, everybody talks about chips.
Chips rule just about everything around us. It's one of the most ubiquitous and consequential technologies in the world. They power your smartphones, cars, planes, power grids, the internet, the global economy, and even Formula One races, where AMD sponsors the Mercedes-AMG Petronas team.
And I think the adaptability that you need to have in this sport is similar to a high-performance, real-world company. The technology develops, and that's why it's so much fun. And what I love is the stopwatch never lies.
Chips are at the heart of a global technology race and a battle for supremacy between China and the United States. So for the AMD CEO, the heat is on. She's in the middle of a race of her own, pulling off the impossible by surpassing arch-rival Intel, only to find that AI has completely changed the game, and now NVIDIA is in the lead. I'm in Austin to see how Sue competes on and off the track, and if she can pull off the unthinkable once again.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming.
So the first thing we did when we got here is we went to your lab and your engineers made us this chip. Wow. It's our own chip. The circuit on a circuit.
This is our epic with the circuit with Emily Chang.
You've been CEO of AMD for 10 years. You've been working in the chip industry for decades. But I want to go back to a moment. When did you first hear that you were going to be CEO of AMD?
It's a phone call you get from your chairman of the board. And he said, Lisa, can you talk? I'm like, sure. And he goes, it's time. And I'm like, time for what? He said, the board has made a decision and they would like you to be the next CEO. I said, okay.
Well, how did that feel? Because it was a tough time. AMD was trading at $2 a share. One guy said it was deader than dead. What made you think you could prove them wrong?
The opportunity to be CEO of AMD was truly like a dream come true. It's like, wow, okay. Like you think that maybe you can do this? And here you're going to have the opportunity to lead a major semiconductor company on, yes, you're right, it wasn't the best time. But I was pretty confident that we had the right pieces. They just needed to be put together in the right way.
AMD was founded in 1969 by executives from Fairchild Semiconductor, the famed company that pioneered integrated circuits. Founder Jerry Sanders was famous for saying, "Real men have fabs. Those are the plants that manufacture chips." AMD started off as a memory chip maker like Intel and followed its larger rival into new markets, but always struggled to achieve the scale and performance Intel enjoyed. With a cash crisis on its hands, AMD had to spin off those fabs and outsource its manufacturing. A sign of the uphill battle Sue was facing, few believed AMD would make it until she started making her moves.
Now AMD stock is trading in a totally different stratosphere. Was there a moment along the way where you really saw AMD turn a corner?
Probably the most important moment for us was the launch of our new architecture. The launch of Zen. You'll hear us talk about Zen a lot. Zen was our clean sheet design to really design the next generation architecture in CPUs for the next decade.
AMD's main competition in designing the best chips comes from two players, NVIDIA in graphics processing units, or GPUs, and Intel in central processing units, or CPUs. A CPU is the Swiss Army knife of semiconductors. They run operating systems and programs, retrieve files, and are generally the heart of a computer. A GPU, or graphics chip, is much more specialized. They were designed to do multiple small calculations simultaneously. That parallel processing makes them ideal for AI. The new Zen architecture put AMD back on top and gave it a range of chips capable of taking market share from Intel.
You proved the naysayers wrong. That has to feel like vindication. Like, do you ever just like shut the door and go, yes, all by yourself?
I don't know that I do that, Emily. You know, those first few years were more about just stabilizing the company and getting ourselves on a good roadmap. And then we
PI3 Renaissance Cat. Meow, that's me, yeah. Let's take a look at this video. We're living in an idiocracy, ... by Asmongold TV.
Hi guys, it's me again. Today we're going to talk about something that everybody has experienced, at least secondhand, and some people unknowingly have also experienced this firsthand as well. And that is going to be the decline of critical thought. This is something that I've been observing over the past 15 or 20 years or so.
Do they actually make decisions? You know, like for the foreign policy, for the spending, the budget, you know, like what up with that?
And I think that it's definitely started gaining momentum recently. And I want to explain something to talk about.
I'm thinking they're at the end of a cycle, so to speak, where you cannot keep people drinking the Kool-Aid. And so you go into overdrive trying to promote the most unhinged ideas, and thank the most base instincts of people even more. But that's a sign of this thing being on the way out, right?
Explore why is that really happening? And this is a very popular topic in conversation, pop culture. There are things like idiocracy. There's the age-old question that people seem to be asking often recently, which is distilled down to something like, why are people so fucking smart nowadays? And today, we're going to answer that question. And
I would say it's because people, the permanent bureaucracy and so on, they want to make their own decisions. That puts money in their, you know, in their pockets, and that also reaffirms their delusions as to why they are in power. And most people are kind of outside of that decision-making process. And they're being kept there. Quite intentionally, by propagating certain ideas. Like, for one example, the idea that we live in idiocracy itself is such an idea. And it means, oh, we can't have people make decisions, they're also dumb. Right? I don't like that line of argument, because it reaffirms this idea. That's actually where I'm going to go with this.
I think that there's a number of reasons for this that make a lot of sense. And the first thing you have to understand is that you have to understand that people need an identity. And that identity used to be tied to a religion, which, by the way, required you to do the exact same thing that secular ideology requires you to do as well. But the religion was a little bit more creative about it. And let's be honest, a burning bush is a little bit more exciting than climate change, isn't it? But I can show you guys how there's definitely a correlation.
But yeah, so identities, yes, of course, that is one of the reasons of getting people disconnected from political process, so to speak, as well, because there is no alternative in that framework, right? It comes with a political prescription. Like religion too, you know, it comes with a prescription. You stay in your place, and like the king takes care or something. Don't worry about it.
And so anyway, this begins as a kid. And I think that nowadays, I feel bad for a kid nowadays. Well,
and yeah, the massaging of the mind starts early. I mean, why do we have like 40 years of mandatory schooling for people? Want to be a barista or something? I don't know. I mean,
growing up, they're 2 and 3 years old. They're getting addicted to Coco Melon. Then they get older. They've got Mr. Beast selling them, chocolate. When there's like, oh, well, this is.
Yeah, there's a lot of dopaminergic interventions that are gonna mess you up. True.
Supposed to be healthy, and it's not. They get a little bit older. They start, they turn 8 years old. They can finally write their name, and then by the time they turn 10, they learn about galaxy gas, and then they forget their name again. And so you think about it as a kid now.
Yeah, sure. There are the harmful physical changes that you can experience, but you can always work against these as well.
Nowadays, and you're really getting spawn camped pretty hard. But anyway, here's another component to it that's very interesting.
I just, I want to steer away from this idea that it's like about stupid people governing.
Critical thought, and I think thinking as a concept, and you can think about this with IQ tests. With IQ tests, this, as with any conversation of nature versus nurture, it's often, a lot of times, some from column A, some from column B. It's a little bit of both. You can actually train yourself to become better at
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Raycon's everyday earbuds have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews online. And their latest model is even better than ever, with 32 hours of battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. If you're getting these as a holiday gift, now is the time to order. The cutoff date to make sure that you get these on time for Christmas is December 15th. One of my favorite features is the quick charge function. 10 minutes of charge yields 90% of battery life. This is perfect when you're on a phone call and you don't want to hold the cell phone up to your head. You only have to deal with it for 10 more minutes. Another cool little feature are the protective case covers for your Raycon. You can have a unique design that fits you, an extra little bit of style, and it also protects your case. Not to mention the wireless charging capability. Go to buyraycon.com/itsagundam to save big on the holidays and get up to 25% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 25% off everything on the website. Well, the election's over, but the crazy just keeps on rolling through. Kinda sucks being an American man that's a heterosexual because, frankly, liberal women are just stir-fry crazy. There's no other way to put it. Let us go down the rabbit hole of nutty women. This woman's going to shave her head to teach us all a lesson.
My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to...
The future of sex robots.
My mission is simple, to make you money.
It's day one of OpenAI's 12 Days of Shipmas, promising new launches and demos every day for the next 12. And for the starters, the AI startup has announced 2 new features. Kate Rudy brings us that story for Tech Check. Clever idea here, Kate.
Yeah, Merry Shipmas, Kelly. But we had 2 new updates as Shipmas, as OpenAI is calling it, kicks off today. So first, we had a better version of one of its main models, and then this $200 per month Pro tier. First on that better version of its Model 01. During a live demo, Sam Altman saying that it's faster, he says it's smarter, should be a better experience for engineers and coders, says it showed major improvements in computation and on PhD-level science questions. They say it's outperforming human experts by about 10 percentage points. According to Altman, on that demo, he said the boosts might look small, but in complex workloads, they are significant. It has more what they call multimodal understanding and reasoning, meaning it can interpret more images and voice. And then this new tier of ChatGPT called GPT Pro mode, it's going to cost $200 per month. This is really for power users who need more than that $20 of compute that they would get per month and would seemingly be willing to pay for that. It also shows a willingness to charge for these services, which is going to be key to this company breaking even. It is a very capital-intensive business. It is not just OpenAI that takes the other frontier in AI that's emerging, image to 3D videos. AI pioneer Fei Li and her World Labs set the new bar with what looks like a video game. You can see that there. These are modifiable worlds in 3D, and Google's Gemini rolled out something similar as well. We are waiting for OpenAI to launch a competitor that might come during shipments, so we might get more image and 3D renderings there. This was on the source.
Well, show that was beautiful. What platform did she use to create that?
So this is called World Lab. So they take an image and then they create it into a 3D world. So theoretically, you could upload a picture of whatever that started as. Maybe it looks like a Dr. Seuss. But you start there, and then it creates this 3D world. So it's not for the everyday person, and same with the ChatGPT OpenAI updates. These are really deep tech. I mean, these are for creative folks who might be video game developers, but it's really pushing the limits of what these models are capable of. And it's really interesting.
Please.
It shows kind of the future and raising the bar, really. All these companies need to kind of keep up with it.
It really is a glimpse into what's coming. Kate, thank you, as always, for bringing that to us.
I watched this guy on like CNN, and I really liked what he was saying. So apparently he did a TED talk, and it's been linked to me a lot.
I appreciate your time. I have 44 slides in 720 seconds. Let's light this candle. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm actually a global television star. True story. I've had 4 TV series in the last 3 years. 2 of them have been canceled before they were launched, and 3 were canceled within 6 weeks. Let's read that.
If we want to teach this thing, if we want to put a cattle prod,
damn.
Remember, the most trusted name is an afternoon at 30%.
Not for long.
I'm going to do whatever
That guy did show. That's impressive.
for this country.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Jeez, come on, dude. You're 0 for 2. Are you
He's jacked, yeah.
Face for podcasting. So first insight of the day, I'd like to be the first person to welcome you to the last TED. Okay. By the way, it's clear, what's it called? What are we here for? The Brave and the Brilliant. It's clear that Chris is a frustrated soap opera producer. Essentially what we have here is a telenovela where after a night of unbridled passion between Bill Gates and Malcolm Gladwell, they give birth to their bastard love child, Simon Sinek. Okay. I start us with a question. Do we love our children?
No.
Sounds like an illegitimate question, right? Well, I'm going to try and convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
Essentially, as we go down generations, we're seeing that for the last 2 generations, people are making less money on an inflation-adjusted basis. In addition,
the 14-17-42, that's real bad. That's crazy.
And the cost of buying a home, the cost of pursuing education continues to skyrocket. So the purchasing power, the prosperity is inversely correlated to age. Simply put, as we get younger, we're taking away opportunity and prosperity from our youngest. The social contract that is now no longer in place.
Yeah, this is why kids hate capitalism, by the way. It's like if you're growing up and you're like 19, and the only way that you can go and, you know, go to college is if you take out a fucking blood pact, a Faustian pact with the debt devil for $60,000 so you can finally, after 4 years, get a job working at Starbucks. Yeah, man, like maybe communism isn't so bad. I mean, really, if you look at it from their perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
First time in the U.S.'s history, a 30-year-old is no longer doing as well as his or her parents were at 30. This is a breakdown in the fundamental agreement we have with any society, and it creates rage and shame. As a result, people over the age of 55 feel pretty good about America, but less than 1 in 5 people under the age of 34 feel very good about America.
Parents in the U.S. adults are extremely proud to be American. Well, I'm part of that 18%. I think America is the greatest country ever. I'm very proud to be part of this country, even though I think there's a lot of things that are wrong with it.
This creates an incendiary. righteous movements, cuts to our society end up becoming opportunistic infections because generally speaking, young people have a
Dr. Indiana Jones, Professor Archaeology Department, Marshall College, Bedford, Connecticut.
Yeah? You ain't no nun, sweetheart.
It's been over 30 years since I wore out my VHS copy of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Since then, the film franchise has been in a state of escalation. Where do you go after uncovering the literal Holy Grail? Aliens, then time machines, apparently. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is the perfect antidote to all of this. One that uses its own figurative dial of destiny to propel us back in time to Indy's prime. The result is easily one of the best Indy stories across both the games and the movies, with painstakingly detailed environments, wonderfully atmospheric tomb raiding and puzzle solving, a pitch-perfect score, and quite possibly the greatest punch sound effect in the business. While it does stumble occasionally as a stealth-focused sneak 'em up, The Great Circle is an otherwise grand and gorgeous globe-trotting adventure that left me giddy as a schoolboy. Yes, it's true.
All right, new recruits, welcome to Twitter.
Thank you, sir. Very excited. Can't wait to get started.
Yeah, me too. Hi.
I'm assigning both of you to our Terms of Service department. That means you get to go over problematic tweets, see if they violate our Terms of Service, and if they do, you get to ban them.
So our job is to ban people? How do we know whom to ban?
I think it'll be easiest to show you with a few examples. Take a look. So, what do we do with this user? Ban or don't ban?
Ban. It clearly calls for violence.
Actually, it's don't ban. Okay, I started with the hard one. You see, Israel is an oppressive Western regime. This tweet came from a Muslim. Therefore, he's an oppressed minority. It's called nuance. You'll get it.
Sounds like it's a double standard.
Exactly. You'll get the hang of it. Okay, Vladimir Putin's official Twitter account. Ban? Don't ban.
Okay, so he's a war criminal murdering thousands of Ukrainians. So I'd say ban.
Don't ban.
Yes, good. Why?
Because he's a world leader and Twitter doesn't ban world leaders.
Exactly. You see, we support the powerful over the powerless.
But didn't you ban Trump?
Yeah, after he was a lame duck, and so he didn't have any power anymore. Hashtag not my president.
Isn't that hypocrisy?
It's a gray area.
What does that even mean?
It's a thing you say when someone says, isn't there hypocrisy? Also, you just hate Trump. Okay, how about this one? Ban? Don't ban.
Ban.
Yes, she's in a position of power in the Biden administration, and this stupid little website isn't allowed to make her feel bad.
Isn't this satire?
Okay, I don't even know what you're saying right now, so let's move on. Chinese Communist Party.
Don't ban.
O.J. Simpson, the Jews.
Don't ban.
Guy in Ohio who wonders if COVID came from a lab.
Ban.
Taliban spokesperson.
Never ban them.
Concerned parent with questions about the vaccine.
Ban them all.
Nicolas Maduro.
Don't ban.
A newspaper who published an embarrassing article about Biden right before the election.
Oh, I'll ban him right now.
Perfect. I love this guy. You didn't answer any of these. Are you getting this?
It seems like you're just banning people you don't like.
Exactly. You see, our policies are very clearly crafted to ban hate speech. Speech that we hate.
That's not what hate speech means.
Okay, I hate that you said that. That's hate speech. See how it works?
No, this is wrong. I know that Twitter is a private company, but this is one of the largest speech platforms out there, and you can't just silence half the country because you don't like the way they think.
If they get themselves banned from Twitter, they can just start their own social media company. Easy.
No, didn't they try that with Parler, and the tech companies destroyed it?
I know. Wasn't that great?
No, you can't just silence certain voices in a democracy just because you have the power.
Okay, wow, that was hateful. You're fired. You, report to HR when you get down there, ban her.
Rachel Levine, Man of the Year. I just got that.
I'm sorry.
sorry I have to ban you.
Hey you! Are you enjoying these videos? Then I have a loose suggestion for you. Why don't you like it? Comment and hit the subscribe button. In fact, even if you didn't like this video, I strongly suggest that you do it. It's not a threat. I'm not pressuring you. You just have to 30%.
11 days. If anyone knows what the Firewatch guys are going through right now, it's Cliff Bleszinski. Now, the first major reason Concord failed is pretty obvious. Bad marketing. I, like most people, saw the trailers for this game and thought, don't care. That's how our brains work, right? You have to implant a strong first impression and be like, what is this? Does it have a release date? When's that? I should put it in my calendar. No, only everything is Concord. Kind of sick. Maybe we should try it out when it comes out. No, there was no word-of-mouth effect like that at all. I only learned of this game's existence a few weeks ago because I was doing research on upcoming hero shooters for the video I made on why Overwatch 2 was a pointless shooter, in which Concord was just the footnote in that video. Like, hey, maybe Concord is going to be one of those games that gives Overwatch 2 some competition.
Are you serious?
Really accurate. Bizarre that Concord launched such low player counts. Like, they had a flashy, big-budget cinematic trailer that, like, clearly had a lot of effort put into it. It was being promoted on PlayStation Showcase. They had plans for an animated spin-off series. They had written up a ton of lore and backstory on the characters in the universe. They had limited edition controllers tied into this game. It actually looks pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. There were months of planned live service updates with weekly story vignettes to keep players coming back. How could so few people have bought or played this or cared about it? Why did it become a ghost town?
660 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
One Reddit user pointed out that people who pre-ordered got access to the closed beta, and that closed beta peaked at about 1,100 players. The open beta drew in a max of 2,400. The game launched to a player count of less than 700, an indication that about half of the players who pre-ordered the game canceled it or got a refund before release. Wild. Meanwhile, Deadlock's hitting like 100K and it hasn't even fucking been announced yet. And I recently watched the cinematic reveal, and you know when you watch something and you're like, I don't feel anything? That's kind of what like a sociopath probably feels like. I just feel empty inside watching this. It comes across like a intergalactic co-op heist game, which could have been really cool. That's a cool concept. I mean, this big tower in the circling city, it looks kind of cool. But the way the characters talk is uninteresting, mega cringe. They don't look visually appealing. It's like, oh, get it? This guy likes hot sauce. Isn't that so quirky? Ah, the old shoot the hot sauce bottle at him. A classic trick. I think it's generous to call this a cheap knockoff of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, you can already play as the real Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel Rivals. Just fucking play that. But you know, the setting was cool and interesting. Maybe we just needed time to get used to it. And then they said Concord would be a 5v5 hero shooter, and I think that's when most people just checked out, because there's a lot of those right now. But even in the gameplay trailers, where the footage has been curated and edited to be the best representation of the game possible, Concord still looked dull, unimaginative. I mean, just look at it. Compare this to the excitement present in the Black Ops 6 trailer. These gameplay showcases could be described as, This is a brand new IP. It's a hero shooter, an established, saturated genre. You gotta blow us away with an explosive first impression. The game sounded even less appealing when the developers sat down and explained to us what Concord was. None of it sounded unique. All generic statements you could say about any first-person shooter. It's got a strong gameplay foundation, opportunities to outplay your opponent, tight core movement. Does it also have guns? And shooting? I love shooting things. If I'm not shooting, I'm not having fun. So for the people who watched these trailers and were aware of the game's existence, it probably didn't leave a strong impression, especially when it's in a showcase filled with other vastly more interesting games. In this article from The Gamer, there's a paragraph that summarizes people's sentiments perfectly. I'd never heard of Concord before the showcase, or if I had, what I'd heard or seen hadn't been memorable enough to stick in my memory. I didn't realize right off the bat that it was part of PlayStation's slate of live service titles, which set me up for a day-ruining disappointment.
Damn!
First impressions matter a lot, especially with new IPs, because they don't have that emotional equity with an audience to automatically grab their attention, and it didn't do a good job of grabbing people's attention. The second reason Concord failed, they missed the bus. It's gone, okay? And now the game is stuck at rock bottom. Even if this came out before Overwatch, it would have felt immediately outdated after Overwatch came out. Overwatch 1, yes. If you're gonna show up 8 years late to the party, you better bring some goddamn good chips and a keg of beer. Where's the beer? It's not just that the hero shooter genre is oversaturated, it's that Concord did nothing to differentiate itself from its competitors. As if nowhere along this 8th stretch of development, they thought, hey, maybe we should change directions and try to innovate and adapt to the changing gaming landscape and what the current expectations are. I mean, you see this innovation in hero shooters like Deadlock, which is arguably more of a MOBA than a hero shooter. The aspects of Dota and League of Legends work to great success in Deadlock. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't play or feel like anything else out there. It's a genuinely innovative title, and it's in alpha. And the art style is still leagues better than this. They haven't even finished the fucking graphics on this game, and it still looks better. Marvel Rivals has the benefit of the Marvel IP and the hundreds of characters they can pull creative inspiration from. NetEase has already worked on Overwatch in the past, so they have experience with that type of game. Apex Legends blends hero shooters with the Battle Royale formula. Valorant mixes hero shooters with Counter-Strike. It's these combinations of different ingredients that makes the beverage taste unique. Concord doesn't have any of that. There's no X factor. And it's late to a trend we've all been familiar with for the last 8 years. The third reason, and let's play a game. One of these is not like the other. Can you help me figure out which one? Is it this one? No? What about this one? Oh, I see. It's Concord with a $40 price tag when every other competitor is free to play. Gee, who could have seen this one coming? That this was a bad decision. At a time where inflation is also especially high in the US, gamers have to be wise with what they spend their money on, and they're likely to be even more conservative with their money because of games like Concord that turn into total duds. I don't know what to say. This is just a complete miscalculation. Just a fucking, this is 2014 Seahawks at the Super Bowl throwing it when they're on the 2-yard line instead of giving it to Marshawn Lynch. It's just a complete disaster of a calculation. The main appeal of live service games is that most of the times they're free. You might deal with some jank and bullshit, but the game's free, and if you want to support it with microtransactions, you can. So the barrier to entry is torn down and the business model is mostly geared towards cosmetics. That's the trade-off. But trying to do both is really difficult if the game isn't good enough. It's like trying to milk 2 cows at once. Asking for $40 up front is like forcing your guests in Roller Coaster Tycoon to pay to use the bathroom. It's like, no thanks, I'll just shit my pants. Thank you. However, games that manage to blend an upfront cost with a live service model can sell well. Helldivers 2 is a prime example, but they also really didn't go too hard on the monetization. It's also been fumbling on the live service front, and that's kind of sad, but Arrowhead more than made their money back and then some. But Helldivers 2 also offered players something they'd never seen or played before. It had style, grace. Concord has a funny face. Speaking of, the fourth reason the game failed, to put it nicely, it's visually unappealing. That is the nicest way to describe it. Not just the character designs, but the UI, the weapons, the maps, everything. It's generic, it's ugly. Visually, everything has a great amount of detail and high graphical fidelity, but it lacks style, it lacks charm. It means Concord only looks like lots of money was invested into it, but not much creativity. This is a hero shooter. The heroes are the selling point. This game has to have character. If I don't like the look, feel, or sound of these characters, then there's no reason for anybody to play it. So let's look at the roster, shall we? Teo. He looks like he's geared up to play laser tag. I'm really not sure what's up with the asymmetric, like, one blue eye thing. I'm guessing this is like the Soldier 76 of Concord. Hamar looks like she got her outfit at Value Village, like she went to a thrift store. Out of all the ways you can cast fire in video games, why tiny little ball? Starchild is...
Oh my god! What's wrong with your face?
What the fuck is this supposed to be? The bright blue skin tones? This looks like my fucking custom Oblivion character that I'm trying to make as ugly as humanly possible. This lady looks like if Warhammer 40k created a kid's show to teach infants how to count. She looks like she would be the main character. She would be Steve of Blue's Clues. Her design looks like a 6-year-old's interpretation of the Fallout power armor. Like, impressive for a 6-year-old. For $100 million? No siree. Ladies and gentlemen, it's right there. The red flag. I mean, it's in plain sight. They warned us. They tried to stop us from purchasing this game. They literally put a red flag on the character design. There's just nothing visually appealing about any of these characters. If you look at them, they're just all horrendously ugly. Or they have, like, such contrasting color schemes. Or, like, this guy, Jabali. Like, isn't that a fucking stupid name? Jabali? Look at him. He's got like a cowboy hat, Mad Max goggles, a fucking portable CD player attached to his chest, and a turquoise plate. What the fuck is this character? Even the robot, dude. He's literally called a trash dispenser. He's a fucking trash can. I think Claptrap could beat the shit out of this guy. This is the fucking prototype for IG-88. This is IG-88 Fat Brother. This motherfucker looks like the Tiger Brand rice cooker, man. Is there even one character that looks like Punch?
Ladies and gentlemen, while recording this video about why Concord failed, Yak Man tragically died. Did you know that over 700 people a year die from great beats? Not a whole lot, but it is more than the peak concurrent player count of Concord. Usually it's self-inflicted deaths caused by one's own existence, but in this case, he's alive.
So there's nothing about these heroes that looks cool. I'm confused by the art style. The color scheme is off-putting, and I don't know what the fuck any of these people, or if they're even people, are supposed to be. Compare this to any character in Overwatch and it's no contest. And that's the thing, as crazy as this sounds, people want to look cool in video games. This shit ain't cool. This is lame. Either make it cool or make it sexy. It's not hard.
I don't think Tits could have saved this game, though, fellas.
The design of Concord's characters aren't just ugly, they tell you nothing about the character themselves. Let's pretend none of you have ever played Team Fortress 2. And I'm pitching the game to you, and I tell you, it's a hero shooter or class-based shooter. I want you to tell me what you think this guy does. Kind of looks like he doesn't want his face to be seen. You know, maybe he's a stealthy kind of guy. What about him? Big machine gun, he's got a bigger frame than the other guys. Bald, probably a tough dude, can dish out a lot of damage, can take a lot of damage, but can't move fast. You see how easy it is to, like, differentiate between good and bad art styles? What do you think the fucking rice cooker guy does? Did you guess that he's a robot that shoots fucking vacuum cleaners? The point is, Concord isn't interesting to look at. I don't want to look at it. So between the unappealing visual design, the $40 price tag, the generic nature of the gameplay, it's no wonder why Concord failed to capture a meaningful audience. But what is perplexing is how this was okayed by anybody. This is like Sony's Redfall. And right now, Sony is in dire straits. In 2022, they announced they had 10 live service games in production, and 6 of them would be released by March 2026. Layoffs have hit Sony developers, changing priorities for some of these live service titles. Others have been outright canceled, and some have become flops like Concord. This is representative of a wild overreach, an overexpansion and overinvestment into something Sony doesn't know how to market or create. They're just throwing money away in the trash can and lighting it all on fire. It has to stop. It's easy to point and laugh at the ridiculous character designs, but truly it's tragic that so much money and time and effort has gone to waste in such spectacular fashion. Actually, fashion isn't even a word you can use when describing this game. I sure am glad they didn't use, you know, $10 million, $20 million to make a new Jak and Daxter. Really glad we didn't get that instead. And we've already seen the industry hit with tens of thousands of layoffs, and critical flops like Concord will do nothing but contribute to this declining health of the video game industry and the hobby we all care about. Something needs to change, and it needs to change now. But these are the reasons why Concord has failed and why Sony is shutting it down just 2 weeks after launch. But what do you think? Which of these characters would you bang? None of them? Me too. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to The Act Man for more awesome content. All right, everyone. We've paid our respects, and it's time to say adieu. Farewell, the sweet Concord. Farewell. What's up, everybody? This is The Act Man here, and today we're testing out reaction content, seeing as I am the React Man. But there is a documentary on Quantum TV that I'm a part of, and it's by a guy named June the King, who is very, very good at making deep dive videos. And I asked him if I could react to it, watch it, and make a video, and he said yes, so that's what we're gonna do. I don't know if we're even gonna reignite the Quantum stuff. He's off doing his, like, divorce survival guide. So this is Quantum TV, a narcissist's road to arrest by June the King. Since I'm a part of this documentary, it's going to be interesting to see what role I play in it, and how someone else covers something that I extensively covered.
Few creators do as good of a job of anchoring every community touched as Quantum TV, a person that labels themselves as the #1 brand in honesty.
Classic.
The accuracy of his calibration and the source of his criticism are often brought into question by others in his field. They will call him a narcissist, a copyright abuser, a liar, and a manipulator. Yet
yeah, see, already you can see how much I've watched a couple of his videos. He absolutely deserves more than 260k subs. Just want to point that out.
He eventually contacted a creator's mother as an intimidation tactic.
Oh boy.
After his typical tactics of copyright abuse failed, and how YouTube reacted to it, and Quantum overall when he was at the center of this massive scandal was even more surprising.
Look, it's me.
He was also blamed for repeated spam calls to a different creator and the creator's significant other.
Yeah, I don't know if I talked about that. Ninjishin, who's another TV guy, was like harassed by Quantum, and Quantum would send him like these GIFs of Deadpool.
Quantum has shown deep hatred for different groups and accused his opponents of worshiping Satan and
This fucking message was... When I first saw this, I didn't think it was real either, but someone actually went into the Discord and found this. Like, this is some of the craziest shit I've ever seen written. How did he know that I worship Satan? Yeah, good question. All the shit I've been giving people that are calling Starfield woke, like, that shit is like cupcakes to this. The people that are upset about pronouns of Starfield and woke stuff, those are cupcakes. This is sewer waste.
So who is Quantum TV? Why was he arrested? And what is
there's that pretty shot. Ain't that a mugshot? He literally looks like an abuse victim. I think like that satanic liberal atheist gay agenda thing, you have to be crazy to come up with that. Like, it's too crazy to be fake.
Quantum's story, at least as far back as he's unable to clean breadcrumbs, starts in 2009. A Twitter account under Ramil X is made with a bio that reads, quote, "Bio are for single people, bitch I'm married," unquote.
Oof, oof, that's him. He ain't married no more. I honestly...
Past couple of years. Coca-Cola now using AI imagery for their advertising campaigns. You have Google working Gemini into practically every single product that they offer. But no matter what company it happens to be, there's a very clear atmosphere. It kind of feels almost desperate when you see it in real time. They want you to accept it, use it, even admire it. But that's the consumer side of artificial intelligence. It's the end user products that they want you to engage with. which turns out to be a tiny fraction of the overall market, completely overshadowed in the background by industrial applications. AI is now the basis for pretty much every single social media platform, from TikTok to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. But today we're talking about Instagram in particular. We're talking about a problem where the human component of Instagram is being supplanted by thousands upon thousands of AI-constructed profiles, which many people have no idea even exist. It's a complicated problem, one which has roots across multiple social media networks, but to break it all down, I want to start with this. According to research posted in the European Data Journalism Network, with findings and methodology that are available in a public document, Instagram disproportionately amplifies photos and videos that show excessive amounts of bare skin. Anecdotally, a lot of people consider Instagram to be largely dominated by what's called thirst traps, a term which is funnily enough now recognized by Merriam-Webster and means, quote, a photograph such as a selfie or video shared for the purpose of attracting attention or desire.
The video game industry is currently in the thralls of a paradox. For players, it could be argued we're in one of the greatest times for gaming. There's incredible breadth of choice across consoles, handhelds, and PCs made ever more accessible through gaming subscription services like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. But from an industry perspective, things could not be more dire. More and more studios seem to be closing, original IPs are being scrapped mid-development, and vast legions of game developers, programmers, artists, and animators have been cut loose. To put it simply, the AAA video game bubble has finally burst.
Okay, Dreamers of all ages. We gotta come up with the next billion-dollar idea. As you know, Strange World, Turning Red, and Lightyear all flopped for some reason. Okay, I don't understand why we're not connecting with the audience. Okay, but whatever the case, we need to come up with something fresh. Okay, so what do you guys got for me?
Well, I've actually got a couple original ideas that I've been working on. If you want to take a look.
What's your original ideas? Okay, who's the chump?
He's the new guy.
Okay, classic new guy. No original ideas. We are going to the Disney Vault to find something that we can remake. And I've got the perfect idea. Aladdin.
Yes, brown people are so in right now.
You already did that. It had Will Smith for some reason.
Okay, what if we remade Cinderella?
Did that too. Twice, I think. One of them had Brandy.
Okay, what if Cinderella is non-binary and we call it Cinderella Man?
That's a Ron Howard movie. It won an Oscar.
Okay, fine. What about Lion King?
Did that too.
You didn't let me finish, Hank.
Yeah, Hank, dummy.
Okay, we remake Lion King. Only this time it's a live-action remake of the upcoming cartoon remake of the live-action of the cartoon. It's a remake.
Oh, it's
I love it. Yeah, here's an idea. It's an all-female cast.
Yes.
Yes! Now we're cooking with zero carbon fuel alternatives. Okay? What else you got?
I love this idea.